Well, the mailman just went by, opened up our mailbox and stuck something in there. I think they're going to be our 3/16 brake line clamps that I ordered from a fella. Turned out they were being sold right here in the good old state of Arkansas, and I was very happy to see that. Yep, there it is right there. Well, here they are. They look great. Exactly what I wanted. 3/16 inch, made out of aluminum so they won't rust. And I think I paid 10 bucks, shipping and all. Right, right here in the town of Lincoln, Arkansas. Here's the guy that sold them to me. If anybody's interested in, getting rid of those old rusty things and putting these on, then you can always, undercoat over the top if you want. Prime and then undercoat, paint it. And here's the guy that did it. If anybody's interested, Lincoln, Arkansas, up in Washington County, top left-hand corner of the state. All right, let's get on to this master cylinder business now. I gotta get done with that because the wife wants me to take her downtown to a vegetable stand and buy a couple of cases of tomatoes so we can make some more tomato juice. I'm not into that this year. However, our granddaughter-in-law wants to make some, and I said, hey, I like you more and more every day. So she'll be the one cranking the machine. Well, hello again. As I stated in the last video, today, or this video, we're going to go ahead and be working on the brake master cylinder, whether or not it'll bolt right up, whether or not it'll fit. Will we have to make any adjustments to this brace that runs from the shock tower to the firewall? Chances are we're supposed to do that. At least everything I've read about said there has to be some kind of a modification done to that brace. So what we're going to do today is go ahead and put the master cylinder on, but first we'll put the master cylinder on, then we'll put the brace on, see what happens. Okay, but first we've got to put our little spacer in there. So we'll go ahead and get that on first and get that out of the way. Well, anyway, now that we have it on, here's the question. We have this push rod right here adjusted for the old master cylinder, the proper length as per the manual. And the master cylinder we've chosen is also used on Mustangs, 64, 66 or something like that. The question is, do I have to make an adjustment of this rod now to accommodate the new dual master cylinder? You just can't bolt them up. Remember I mentioned that a long time ago when we first started messing with this adjustment rod here. So we got to make sure it's in the center where it is. It is down in the hole, and we're going to have to find out. So how are we going to do that? All right, let's do it this way. I think there's a much easier way to figure all this mess out between these two master cylinders. First of all, the brake booster is already set up for this one. We got it all ready to go. Now after I put the spacer on the brake booster, this one should fit exactly the same, and I'll tell you why. We're going to take this little screwdriver here, put it in there like so, and over here, same exact distance between the two. And now let's do it this way. Let's take this and do it this way, and you'll see it's exactly the same. Exactly the same. No difference. I know that looks like a space on the other side there, but that's the taper. It's tapered right there to the end, whereas this one's not. But they're exactly the same space. So as far as I'm concerned, all I have to do is bolt this one up. Now all I'm going to do is take this thing and see if it'll fit down in there, because we still have to bleed the air out of it and all this other crap. Right now we're just looking for a fit. Scott writes, John, I live in Arizona and bought my T-Bird from a guy in Idaho on eBay Motors. It was his dad's car that he had bought back in 1979. His dad also had the engine rebuilt around that same time. The car was named Red Ryder. Scott assumed that the dad had passed and the car wound up sitting in dry storage for 10 years. One day the son decided that he just didn't have the time or room for it anymore, so he put it up for sale. Anyway, one day, he writes, I was bored and was just browsing the internet, looking at old cars that needed rebuild, refurbishing, etc., when I came across this beauty on eBay. It was an auction. I read all about it. She runs but needs a lot of work. You know the rest. The interior was in really good condition and I just couldn't let her go. So I bid and I won it for $3,000 and had it shipped to Arizona. Scott, that was a great price. I just recently came across your videos a few weeks ago. I really liked them, and this is what I wanted to do. Take it nice and slow, as this is a hobby car. I have driven her around at times. The videos have really boosted my confidence level, as I am not a big car guy, but I can turn a wrench. I'm a trained aircraft mechanic and have been doing this for 20 years, ever since my Navy days. These old cars are great to work on, easy and a whole lot cheaper than their modern counterparts. I saw the video in which you had removed the brake booster and was slamming Ron C for another sucky idea. I had a good laugh. Well, I've got some bad news to report, folks. The master cylinder we ordered was from a 69 Mustang 390, and it's not going to work, period. That's it. A couple of you guys said, well, give me the part number you ordered, and I'll order one from my car as well, my 66. And I told you to hold off, let me make all the mistakes and iron out all the kinks and find out what's going on. There's no need for all of us to have the same problem, because I really wasn't 100% sure that this would work, and I'm going to show you why. There is no clearance right here. Get over here, right? Because there's no clearance right there. See there? On the shock tower, there's just no clearance. It won't work. Not going to work. Also, this right here, I took everything apart, to see if it would work. If I pick this up and try to line up the bolt holes. Right now it's off to the side, but if I bring it up and try to line it up, I can't even get the bolts to come up through the holes because this part right here is hitting against the bail, or the latch, the wire that holds the top on. This is not going to get it. Not going to get it. So here's what we're going to do. I don't want to delay. We're going to figure this out. Right now we have two other options. When I say we, I'm talking about Brendan and I. We've been working on this extensively. But and I also think I've got that spacer upside down, if I'm not mistaken. I need to flip that baby around, but it doesn't matter. So I'm taking this off. And this will be, I mentioned earlier that Rock Auto, there have been a lot of complaints about their return policies and how they do it, and there's nothing but problems and trouble. I've said I've never had a problem with Rock Auto, but I've never done a return either, so I'm going to follow their instructions on the internet to the letter. And I'm going to go, I've still got the original boxes and all that. We're going to go ahead and ship this back to them as a return, and then they'll give me store credit, which is what I requested, and I'll go ahead and reorder another master cylinder after we maybe decide the one we actually want. As a footnote, this will be the master cylinder I'll be buying next. It's you find it on a 67 Thunderbird, and there's a big difference here. One thing, the rear brake, instead of coming out over here, they have the bleed valve there now, and instead of the the outlet line. The outlet line to the rear brakes is down here, so the brake line will come up and screw into the bottom, and then over here the front brakes will screw in to the side. And it's 9.5 inches long. However, we do have the ability to hook in a brake line here, The only problem we're going to have still is up here. Now, if anybody knows of a different master cylinder, I don't want any guesswork here. If anybody knows for sure that another kind of master cylinder will fit in the 66 Thunderbird with plenty of clearance to the shock tower, let us know what it is. No guesswork, no I thinks or maybe or possiblies. I want to know that you know for sure that it'll be a better choice than this right here. One more thing we'll cover before we close out. We're getting to the point now where we're about to wrap up the mechanical side of this mess. It may not look it right now. I have several small things that still need to be done. I've got to put oil in the engine, water in the radiator. We've got to get that master cylinder in there, hook up those brake lines, bleed the system. I want to clean the rust off the wheels, which will be my next big project. I have two, I say wheels, I'm talking about rims. I have two rims that need to be cleaned up. So that'll be, the small stuff. I got to hook up the electric choke on the carburetor, little things like that. And then I'll go through and look at this. I think I also have to tighten up the shims down where the alignment portion of the front end is. I don't think I tightened up the bolts, and one of our wheels is our rotors are straight, and the other one's kind of cocked in a little bit. So I'm going to have to adjust the tie rod ends out to get it somewhat close to where it's straight on both sides. Little things like that. But with all that in mind, we're going to be going into the interior in the not too distant future. And we're going to need vacuum lines. Now these are Gates vacuum lines as recommended by our good friend and now subscriber, Nick, at Vintage Thunderbird Repair. Very, very knowledgeable. I keep repeating what he knows. He knows a lot. When you've been in the business of repairing and restoring Thunderbirds for what? I think it's 37 years. Believe me, you know something. So this is what he recommended. He recommended the Gates vacuum lines. There's three sizes you'll need if you own a 66, and probably the same for your 64 and 65. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. And I have a 50-foot roll here. This is the 7/32. Now for the 66 owners out there, you'll need 7/32, 5/32, and 7/64. Now this is 27043. That's a 3 right there, and there it is. Okay, now we can see it. The 7/32 is the 27043, and the 5/32 is 27042, and the 7/64 is 27041. Now you find this on eBay. You can get it from a seller named Virota, Virota, and all I did was type in Gates, Gates. I just typed in Gates, then I typed in this number right here, 27043, vacuum tube, and it popped right up. And also the other two, the 042 and the 041. I ordered one from him. He's in Dallas, Texas. I ordered one roll. This is a 50-footer. It was like 22 bucks or something like that. And we'll probably use a lot of this. And Dallas, Texas, I ordered one roll to see how responsive he would be. I'd never dealt with the guy on eBay before. So I told him, I said, look, if this thing comes through quick and everything goes smoothly, I'll order the other two rolls that I need, the 042 and 041. Well, it was like immediate. Boom, 2 days. It was in my well, it was delivered by, I think it was FedEx. It was delivered by the mail, the USPS. They delivered it right to the door. I wasn't there when it delivered. So I went ahead and I was very happy, very satisfied. So I went ahead and ordered the other two rolls. They'll be in probably Monday or Tuesday. So that little portion of our car, when the time comes, we will be prepared for that. Okay, remember, Virota. You can buy it anywhere you want, but I like the price. I like the speed. Now, of course, the shipping bites you in the butt, always does, but there's nothing he can do about that. Well, that's it for now, folks. Until next time, hopefully, now a new month is coming up, and I'll have a new budget set up for the Thunderbird, and that's when we'll go ahead and order the new master cylinder. Every month I program so many dollars for the T-Bird, and then when I get to that point, I stop. And that's what you got to do. You have to be very disciplined about this. Don't go hog, unless you got tons of money to blow. I mean, it's no problem, I've got the money I need, but I'm not going to just blow it. There's other things I'd like to get. Of course, we don't go downtown very much anymore anyway. We don't go out of the house. The coronavirus has beginning to eat Arkansas up. That's not good. We were doing real well for a while there. I don't know where it's all coming from. So until next time, remember, if you have a better option for that Thunderbird master cylinder for the 66, let me know. But you have to know. Don't take any guesses or that you heard somebody did this or possibly that. No, you've got to know for sure that the master cylinder that you recommend is a better option than the one that I chose. Alright, until next time, this is John.